Be calm. Be calm? Are you kidding? The media is inundating us with all these horrible, horrible pieces of news and dire predictions. How can I be calm? Be calm. The media is not the truth. We've all lost sight of the fact that the media is now all about stirring up fear. Not just this week or this month or during this time. For decades now, the way the news has sold itself to us is through fear-mongering. There's a wonderful sociologist named Barry Glassner who writes about the 3 narrative techniques of fear-mongering that the media uses. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about them because I hope it will encourage you to engage in this heart-centered practice that I think could make a big difference in your day. The first one is the depiction of isolated incidents as trends. Basically, the media takes something and normalizes it, takes something often extreme and normalizes it. And so it has taken, over the course of the last 10 years, isolated incidents and used them to create the belief that all around us is murder and mayhem and danger. When in fact, Gandhi told us that no matter how egregious the acts of evil, the daily, simple acts of good of the 7.5 billion people on this planet will always outweigh even the most egregious evil. So right now we're being treated to dire predictions and all the horrible things that are going on. And then the little happy news story at the end tells us about the good person who did this or the hospital worker who did that. When the fact of the matter is that way, way, way more good is happening. And so the news is trying to get us to focus on what will make us afraid. And one of the ways that it does this is by repeating itself. Now, every teacher will tell you that the best way to get their students to learn is to repeat themselves. The best way to get students to learn is through repetition. You heard that, right? I repeated myself. Well, that's what the news does. The news repeats these same horrible fear-based facts so that we think that this is all that is going on. And yet when you go outside and you hear the birds singing and you look up at the sky or you take a walk and you think, oh my God, it's not Last Man on Earth starring Vincent Price. It's actually a beautiful day or a calm day. And you think, am I crazy? Am I crazy? Is this wrong and the news is right? The last of the 3 fear-mongering techniques that Glassner writes about is misdirection. Now, misdirection is the classic trick of every magician. Misdirection gets you to look where the magician wants you to look while he preps the trick and saws the lady in half or pulls the rabbit out of the hat. But here's the deal with misdirection. It only works if you believe you have chosen to be deceived. You see, we all go into a magic show knowing we're going to be deceived, knowing the lady isn't going to be sawed in half, but excited to see how we're going to be tricked. Well, misdirection is what the news uses to get us to focus away from the fact that every single day we can choose love. And that when we choose love, everything shifts. So for today's practice, I'm going to ask you to do something that may be counterintuitive. I'm going to ask you to turn off the news, not listen to it, not watch it, not read it for 24 whole hours. My dear friend Karen worked for FEMA doing trauma counseling after 9/11 for people who had lost somebody, who were experiencing trauma in the New York area. And one of the things she noticed very quickly was that the people who were the most stressed out were the people who were obsessively watching the news. And so she would say to them, please try to turn the news off for a day or even a week. I can't. The news is the source of of my information, and I need information to be able to process this. Please, she would say, try to turn the news off just for a day. And they would do it. And they would see that they felt better, so they would do it for another day or a week. And the next time they saw Karen, they would come back and they would say, oh my God, that made all the difference. My stepmother lived in London during the Blitz, and she would tell me how calm people were and how it blew her away, the bravery and the calmness of the British. My stepmother was Australian and a little less calm. She would be performing in a play and the bomb scare sirens would go off, and in the middle of the play, everyone, the actors, the crew, the audience, would go down and be in a bomb shelter together, and she would be so blown away by the calm. The British had signs everywhere that said, keep calm and carry on. That's what I'm going to ask you to do today. Turn off the news, and when you feel that urge to click the news app or turn it on or listen to something, instead, calmly pet your dog or stroke your kitty cat. Calmly pour yourself a cup of tea and sit. Calmly look out the window and see the blue skies. If you can get outside, calmly go outside and look at the clouds or see if a flower's blooming. Keep calm and carry on, because when we do, we remember that the fear-mongering does not help. What we choose to think determines our experience. We can choose to think fear, or we can choose to feel love. Today, by choosing to be calm, you are choosing love. Choose love. Be calm. Love heals. Let's love this world viral together.